Hi everyone, this is Teacher Nina from Tutor ABC slash iTutor Group. Welcome to my channel. So, if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe if you want to know more about Tutor ABC slash iTutor Group, or if you want to apply on this company. So, please do subscribe to my channel. And if you'd be able to like this video, click the like button, hit the notification bell to know more about this video. Alright, so I've been receiving a lot of messages, comments, and emails, and they're asking me how do I handle group classes here at Tutor ABC. So for everybody's knowledge, we do have group classes here in Tutor ABC. The maximum students I have in a class, I think there were 6 students, yes. So in group classes, it could be in a 45-minute class, you could just have 1 student up to 6 students. So for today, I'll be sharing with you everyone how I handle these classes. So disclaimer, I'm not saying that my strategy or the way I handle it is the best one. This is just my way of sharing with you. How do I do it? But for better options, you can attend trainings at Tutor ABC page. We have that. Or you can ask for advice at our teacher community because there are a lot of seasoned teachers there, native teachers, and they've been with iTutor Group for quite some time now. So most of them are around. For the active teachers, I would say the active teachers has been with have been with iTutor Group for around 4 to 5 years, I guess. Yeah. So they're the one like Marco. Yeah, they're really active in giving advices or replying to the questions that teachers have in our teacher community. So yeah, they can give you better advices. But if you want to know mine, please continue watching. So how do I handle group classes? So first, let's just say I have 4. Let's meet halfway. So instead of 6, instead of 5, instead of 3, I'll have 4. So if I have 4 students at the very beginning of the class, at the beginning of the class, I do ask them questions, like typical questions, basic questions to make them feel at ease. So like, hi everyone, and then I would go to the first student that I'd be asking. So usually I do, if it's for juniors, I do the clockwise rotation. So let's say I begin with student A, and then so uh, A, B, C, D. So the way I handle it, A, B, D, C, and then I go back to A. So it's like that. And on each page, I do put markings. So let's say for page 1, I I do begin asking Anna. So I put A. It means that I asked Anna first, so that I won't be able to forget any student on that case because I do have markings. So on the first page, I do ask questions that could make them feel at ease or comfortable with me, and then I do make silly faces. I do what do you call this? I do, do something fun in class. So my usual questions are, how are you today? Have you eaten breakfast? Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, you're making teacher hungry. I haven't eaten yet. So yeah, that would be funny for them. So I'd be able to catch their attention, and they would be saying something, and then it's like a friendly talk, something like that. So that's how I do start group classes. I do make my students feel at ease with me. And when I've asked all of them, I do welcome them again. So once again, welcome to my class, and our lesson for today is about, and then I will state the topic. And then I do ask, like, let's say the topic is travel. So I'd ask, have you traveled abroad before? Okay, before I proceed with our lesson, I would like to ask, have you traveled abroad before? So there must be some fluidity in your conversation. I don't really rely on the page whenever I do ask questions. I do ask questions that I think my students will be comfortable in answering my questions, or if they have something to share about it. So on the next page, then I'd be asked questions that I haven't asked yet. So let's say for the first page, if I started with Anna, for the second page, I would start with Ben. Okay, so I'll still put markings on the second page, reminding me that I've started the questions with Ben, and then that goes on and on. So if it's what do you call this? If it's for an adult, so it's not a clockwise rotation. So I go downwards, and then go back up, and so on and so forth. So that's how I do it to ensure that all of my students were able to answer. Now, there's this question that struck me that since it's a group class, it's quite noisy, or there's some unnecessary noise. So, in adult classes, it seldom happens with me. But if it does happen, I do ask them to like, it's like this. Hello, Anna, can you hear me? Yes, teacher, I can. I can hear some noise on your end. Um, so sometimes it's technical issue. So I can hear my voice on your end. There's an echo. And then the student, oh, okay, like that. So let's try fixing it. So I do report it to our IT team. It also happens with kids. So most of the kids, they have there's someone to accompany them. And sometimes that happens when there is this echo. I can hear my voice on their end. So it's quite disturbing. So I do tell them that I do inform them that there's noise on their end. I do it politely. And if there's a parent, then the parent would try fixing it. I do try fixing it as well. I do report it to the IT team. We have that technical support on our page. And then if it won't be fixed for a few seconds, I would ask the student, can you go out of the classroom and come back immediately? Let's try if this will work. So usually it works. Whenever they do go out of the room and come back again, it works. So it gets a lot better. Now it's all better. Thank you. I'm so sorry for that trouble. And so on and so forth. So like that. Okay, I'll get back to you. So that's how I do it. If there's background noise, some background noises are like fans, electric fans. So I can hear static noise on your end. I think it's your fan. Is it? So it's something like that. And then if they say yes, okay, teacher, the students would understand. They know because they always put their self on others' shoe. So for sure they don't want to be hearing noise from others' end. So they do adjust. Oh, so teacher, is it okay now? I'm so sorry, my parents were talking or something. Oh, okay, teacher, is all better now. It's not noisy anymore, is it? So something like that. So yes, it's all better now. Thank you for your cooperation, something like that. All right. So sometimes, if it can't be resolved, okay. So I'll be muting all of your microphones. Or first, can you please turn off your microphones and unmute it whenever it's your time to speak. When I call your name, unmute your mic, and when you're done talking, please mute your microphones again. So they do that, but sometimes there are students who don't really care at all. So like it's still noisy. They don't mute their microphones. I do tell, okay, Jacob, teacher will mute your mic, okay, because teacher's hearing some noise. I will unmute it later if it's your turn to talk. So it's something like that. If it's a kid. But usually for adults, I do that as well, but that's not so cringy as that one. So, Liza, I'm so sorry, but there's still noise on your end. Please mute your microphone and turn it back on whenever it's your time to speak. So if the student didn't get it, okay, Liza, it's teacher who will be muting your microphone, and I'll unmute it later if it's your turn to talk, okay? So thank you. All right. So go back to the topic again. And if you can see in group classes, there are what we call this, the percentage, speaking percentage of each student. Don't rely on that one. Why? If the student's voice is loud, for sure he or she will get most of the speaking percentage. But if the student has a low voice, or the system doesn't hear her or him really well, then he or she might be having a low percentage of that speaking percentage. So it's just okay. Just give them time to answer and to give their answers. Just forget about the percentage. It's quite annoying sometimes, because if I've experienced wherein this kid has been speaking a lot, but his percentage is around 20, and then the one who has given short answers, brief answers, but he has a loud voice, he had around 40 or 50. Yeah, so it's quite strange. Don't rely on the speaking percentage. Just always remember how your student respond. And I've the I have a rating now of 9.91, 9.81, something like that. And for overall, I do have 9.73. So for most of my group classes, I don't really get much low rating. The lowest I have recently is the one that one student who gave me a rating of 8, wherein she was absent in class. So maybe she logged in the class for 10 minutes before the class, wherein I wasn't in that class yet, and then she got out immediately, or possibly she got in the class for few seconds and then got out immediately without me noticing, and then she gave me a rating of 8. So I don't know where she got that rating on my end, but it usually happens. Don't be bothered with your ratings, everyone. Sometimes, even how good you are, even if you've given them a lot of time to speak, so they would still give you a rating of 8 or 5 or 1. Maybe they do have bad mood during that time, so I don't know. Yeah. So don't be bothered with rating, but don't ignore the ratings at all, because we have this maintaining rating of 9.5 per week. So yes, don't be too bothered because of those bad ratings. It happens. So just let it be, and do better next time. But if you were at your best during that time and still the student gave you a rating of 8 or a 5, then just forget about her. Just think that she's like, crazy or something. Okay, so anyway, yes, I don't really rely on the questions. Usually, the questions I've asked it earlier than the supposed page. And how do I handle it? Sometimes, there were topics that the students aren't really that interested. So, we do have that comprehension check on the topic, of course. So we take turns in reading, and I don't let the student read the entire page. So if there are 3 paragraphs, I do have 3 students read it. So if I have 4 students, the 3 students will read it, those 3 paragraphs, 1 paragraph each, and then the first question will be asked to the student who wasn't able to read. And then on the next page, that student who wasn't able to read will be the first one to read the first paragraph. So it's something like that. So you have to be considerate of the speaking time, or what do you call this? Yeah. Sorry, bangag. Okay. So, yes, you have to consider that one. But if so, it's like a comprehension check. So let's say you've talked about Dubai. The topic was about Dubai. So you've asked comprehension check. So, what is the tallest building in Dubai? Something like that. So sometimes it's not quite engaging for the student. So better ask questions about their personal experiences. Ask them their experience. So, you've said a while ago or a few minutes ago that you've traveled in Japan. So, what's the best part of that travel? So, if Dubai has this Burj Khalifa, what can you compare with it, or what is somewhat similar to it in the place that you've been into? Or you can ask them about their country. So sometimes you need to, well, on my end, most of the time, I do ask questions that involves their personal experiences. So to have the lessons be more engaging, because whenever they do talk about themselves or their experiences, they do share a lot. And if you hear your student say that, I know it, but I don't know the English word for it, so try. So, okay, can you tell it to teacher? So, like, you give clues. So, is it something like this? Is it similar to this one? So, if you know the word, you can give it to them. But if you don't, and you've given your best and still you can't figure it out, then you tell them, okay, that's your homework. All right? So after this class, please do check on it. Okay. But sometimes students do like, teacher, please give me a moment. I'll search for that word. So they do type it on Google, I guess, and then they do translate that word. But don't wait for too long. Like, it's taking them a minute to search for it, then okay, I'll get back to you. Then proceed to the next student. There should be no what do you call this? Dead air. There should be no dead air during the class. Make it engaging as much as possible. So sometimes you're at the end of the lesson and the time hasn't finished yet. So like you're 40 minutes done and you still have 5 minutes and you're done with all those pages. Do ask questions, but not too personal questions. So it should be somewhat related to the topic. So um, today, if I do have regulars actually. So if I know they're really good in speaking the language, I do ask like questions. So, what did you do this morning? Oh, did you watch Olympic Games? Which one? What game did you watch? So, what can you say about it? So, ask something like that, but not too personal, because some students don't like people or teachers asking personal questions. So, just be observant. That's the key to it. Whenever you handle classes, just be observant. And if you encounter students who are not interested in your class, don't be demoralized with that one. It happens. So just go with the flow. Always smile. That's what I do. I always smile. I do give jokes. I do share my personal experiences as well. Like for the topic, oh, it's so good you've been to Japan. You know what? It's really my dream to visit Japan, but I'm not that rich. And there's this pandemic. So, yeah, you have to do some acting skills there and then you can get their attention. So, that's what I do. I do put markings on the page who read that certain area so I won't be able to forget who has read and who hasn't read yet. And then I do it on a clockwise or downward sequence. And I do mute their microphones whenever there are noises, and I only unmute it if it's their time to speak. I do make it engaging by asking questions and relating the topic on their personal experiences so that they can share. I do assist them whenever they have a hard time, and if it's really difficult to them, I do say it's okay, it's all right. You can work on it. So it's something like you have to be kind, you have to be patient, and if they're rude students, I just ignore. I just keep on smiling and okay, sorry, something like that. Yeah, it's just style and work on your charms with your students. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. That's how I handle. Nothing really special. As long as I do give them time, I do relate it to their personal experience. I do make silly remarks. I do joke around. I make funny faces, and I am polite. I am patient. That's it. So they're happy with that so far. So let's hope it continues on my end. So I hope this helps. So thank you for watching my video. Please do click the like button, click subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Once again, this is Teacher Nina. I'm sorry, this is just a raw video. I have some grammar mishaps. I don't have scripts for this one. I just really want to help those who need help. Thank you for having me. See you next time, everyone.